Hello and welcome to your lesson for today in geometry. So we're going to do the other half of chapter 9, lesson 7. We did the law of sines before, and today we are going to do the law of cosines. Okay, so what happens when you have a triangle and we have all three sides? If I know this is 8, this is 12, and this is 14. Can we solve using the law of sines to find out what angle A is, what angle B is, and what angle C is? And the answer is no, because we would need to take the sine of A over 12 equals the sine of B over 14. So sine of A over 12 and B over 14. Well, we still have two unknowns. We still have angle A and angle B that we do not know. So we cannot use the law of sines. So that's where the law of cosine comes into place. Now, you can certainly Google and figure this out, and it will go through and show you the proof, but I have found that showing the proof does not make an aha moment. So if you are interested in that, please go find your friendly friend of Mr. Google or Mrs. Google and look at the reason as to why the law of cosine works. Now, basically, all three of these formulas are exactly the same. The big thing what you just need to remember is the bookends, I call them. So a squared and the cosine of A are on opposite sides. So when we're doing the cosine of A, then A squared is opposite of it. So those are the two bookends, A squared. Now, if you're looking for another one, let's just say we're looking for B, and then the opposite would be, you can see that B squared is by itself, and then cosine of B is on the other end. Now there's two cases. We're either going to be looking for this number in front, the B squared, or we're going to be looking for an angle measure. So we're either looking for a side or an angle measure. So those are the two different cases that we're going to be going through. So we're going to have two sample problems. All right, this is what I would consider the easiest of the two. And again, it does not matter right now if you're going to talk about A squared, B squared, or C squared. What you really need to know is this angle measure, and then the side opposite is your bookend. So we need to say ED squared equals. Then on the very end, what we're going to have, this is the law of cosine, so we're going to have the cosine of 21. Okay, because the side that we're looking for has to be opposite of the angle, and they are the bookends. Now everything else just goes in between. So it doesn't matter if you write 16 squared plus 18 squared, or if you do it in the other way. And then it's minus 2 times 16 times 18. And now really, this just becomes a calculator problem. And to be honest, you can put all of this just right in your calculator, or you can do it step by step and work things out. So this is ED squared. So the biggest thing is at the end, you have to remember we're looking for ED, not ED squared. So you need to remember to square root at the end. So 16 squared plus 18 squared is 580. And again, you can just plug this all into your calculator. And then this is going to be minus 2 times 16 times 18 is actually 576. And then we still have the cosine of 21. All right, so really you're just going to plug all of that into your calculator. And I can't remember what I get here. So 580 minus 576 cosine 21. And I have something like ED squared equals, and it's 42.25767434. Now I'm just going to leave that decimal right in my calculator, and what I'm going to do right now is hit second so that I can get this square root button. So second square root, and then I'm going to hit second again, because I'm going to hit this, this negative sign right here, because right above it, it says answer. So I'm going to go second answer, and now it just plugged that answer in there and hit enter. And I am getting the decimal of ED equals 6.5. So the length of ED, DE, they said it opposite of me, is 6.5. So really you could just plug all of that right into your calculator, but at the very end you have to remember to take your square root. The answer is not the 42.3. You have to take the square root of that, and ED is 6.5. All right, the second case is a little bit harder. Plugging it in is not any difficult, but actually solving it, you just have to get your correct order of operations here. So we're looking for this angle measure. So remember, the bookends need to be the angle and the side that it is. So I'm going to set it up 8 squared equals 10 squared plus 15 squared minus 2 times 10 times 15, and now I'm going to have the cosine of k. So this one we're actually going to have to probably write some stuff down. We cannot just put this into your calculator. So 8 squared gives us 64. 10 squared plus 15 squared is 325. 2 times 10 times 15 is negative 300 times the cosine of k. Now, order of operations says that we need to subtract 325 from both sides. So 64 minus 325 is 261 equals negative 300 times the cosine of k. So we're going to divide. This is kind of like saying 2x equals 10, and we're going to divide both sides by 2. So this time we have to divide by a negative 300. Oops, this is a negative 261. So I'm going to divide by a negative 300. And this actually comes out to be an exact decimal of 0.87 is the cosine of k. Now remember, anytime you want an angle measure, you need to do the inverse operation, the inverse. So we're going to do second cosine, okay, second cosine, so that we end up with the inverse. And now you have a parenthesis that came in, so just plug in 0.87, or just do second answer so that it'll just put that decimal right in there for you. And I think we come out to be 29.5 degrees. 29.5 degrees. Okay, those are the two cases and the two ways to solve things and go through your order of operations. So we have one last concept to find here, and there is an area formula. So I know you guys know the area formula is 1/2 base times height. Well, this is not a right triangle, but I think you guys know to find the height, we're going to have to start from a side and we go perpendicular to the opposite side. That's called an altitude. So that is our height. So if we go here, I can take the sine of C. So now, friend, sine of C is the side opposite. So height over hypotenuse, which is A. So now if I multiply both sides by A, I have A times the sine of C equals my height. So if I go back over to this formula for finding area, I can replace this height. I just found the height is equal to A times the sine of C. So the area is going to equal 1/2 the base times, and instead of writing height, I'm going to go A times the sine of C. Now, if you look at this formula right here and the one that I just came up with, you will see that they're basically the same. So I have BA and they have AB. So let's just see where that comes from. So let's just go back. Let me erase what I put on here. And so where does that come from? Well, when you look, AB, that's the length of one side and the length of another side, and then we have the sine of C, so the sine of this included angle. So anytime you have a triangle and you know two sides and the included angle, you can use this formula for finding the area. Now, I could have done this, I chose C when I dropped this down. I could have also done it from A, I could have done it from C, so I could do it from any one. And it always works out that the two sides and the included angle, so 1/2, the two sides, and the sine of the included angle. All right, so your normal formula, 1/2 base times height, absolutely positively works if that's what they give you. If they give you this height is 5 and the whole length of this side is 20, then by all means, you're going to go 1/2, base is 20, and the height is 5, and you're going to find the area. But sometimes that's not what they give you. Sometimes they give you a triangle like this. So we can take the length of one side and the length of the other side and this included angle. So we can go 1/2 times 19 times 17 times the sine of 135. So we get 1/2, 19 times 17 times the sine of 135. Now this just becomes a calculator problem. So just punch everything just right in your calculator, and I believe that you get this area to come out to be 114.2 units squared. I don't think they gave us any labels. Okay, so that works for any kind of triangle when you're trying to find the area. The two sides and the included angle. So 1/2 base, and then this was the height. All right, I believe it is homework time, and you're going to be talking about the law of cosines and the area of triangles. And they just may throw the law of sines every once in a while in there. All right, good luck on your homework.